What is going on, guys? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you on a Thursday night. We've almost made it to the weekend. If you're watching from Florida, you know that it's pretty comfortable outside, and it is going to get even more comfortable tonight. And if you like it cool, I have some great news for you. The coolest air of the season likely is going to blast in just in time for Halloween and then stay with us through the turn of the calendar month into November. So if you like it on the cool, crisp side, maybe some nice fire pit weather, that is here, and it is going to intensify as we get toward Halloween and then into the first couple of days of November. Of course, a lot of us here tonight because we want to know the latest on the tropical storm, Melissa. Melissa is disheveled tonight. That is to be expected. It's all part of the greater forecast here that we have going forward. It is expected to become a major hurricane, potentially pushing Category 5 status as it nears Jamaica and kind of meanders around Jamaica over the weekend. So we are going to get all into that. For my Florida forecast viewers, I want to talk about this just real quick. It is very comfortable outside. And then we're going to get it all into most of the show is going to be about Melissa. We're coming at you live, by the way, on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. If you're here for the first time, please let me know. Post in the comments where you're tuning in from, whether it's from the great state of Florida, whether it's from parts of the Caribbean. We had a lot of people from Jamaica on last night. Really appreciate you guys being here. The dew point temperature, it's the number one factor other than the actual air temperature when it comes to your comfort. In the middle of the summer, we have these dew point temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. That real soupy tropical air mass that we keep around for months on end. When we're talking about dew point temperatures in the 50s and 40s, that is pretty much maximum comfort. When you start to get into the 30s and 20s, that is really dry. So right smack dab where we have things from Pensacola to Orlando to Jacksonville into Tallahassee, right there, that is where we have the super comfortable air. Tomorrow, it's going to be comfortably warm. It's still kind of humid in, obviously, Key West, Miami. We're a couple of notches above where we should be from Tampa to Naples to Orlando, but it is much more comfortable. Shane, what's going on? Enjoying the cold air up here in Minnesota. Yeah, you've seen the frost. Nice frosty mornings for sure. Neek, if you stick around, I'm going to get into all the stuff about Tropical Storm Melissa for sure. We are thinking about your family too, and everybody living in parts of the Caribbean that are going to be impacted by a very significant hurricane. Before we get into that, though, as some of this is all kind of tied in, this is the temperature outlook from October 31st, Halloween, to November 6th. You see all that blue? It's been a long time since we've seen that blue. And what this blue means is that there is a high probability that we get cooler than normal temperatures in that October 31st to November 6th range. And boy, I'm talking, we're going to get down into the 50s everywhere. We're getting into the 60s in the afternoon, 70s for highs, and then 60s in the evening. And that's what we're really going to be keeping from the 31st through November 1st, November 2nd. So very fall-like weather, very fall weather. We are in fall coming. The reason for the arrival of this is a pretty big cold front. And what this is going to act to do is steer away Melissa from Florida. So I say one more time, because I continue to see, dare I say, the trash on social media that Florida is in play for this storm. Yeah, there could be an outer band, maybe a little feeder band pushing through as it lifts kind of in between the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos. But here is the reason why this is not coming to Florida. So there's the cold front. We're fast forwarding to Tuesday, October 28th. And you see there's likely a pretty strong hurricane on or near Jamaica that then pushes over Cuba. And then by Wednesday, it's impacting eastern Cuba, parts of the Turks and Caicos, and then lifting to the northeast. But you see there, that hurricane is being bullied by this cold front that is going to deliver the unseasonably cool air by the Florida Panhandle by the 29th or 30th. And then for the rest of Florida, yeah, that means you guys, even in Miami and the Keys, this one reaches here. And then Melissa and that cold front are going to kind of work in tandem to kind of pull in that drier air as it goes out to sea. So this cold front is the reason why. And I like to be transparent. I like to show my work as to why I don't think something is going to happen or why I do think something is going to happen. So, coming up after the first break, we are going to go through all of the hurricane models and the ensembles and things like that so that I can show you exactly what I mean and why I truly believe that this is not coming to Florida. And while I guarantee you that the people that continue to keep Florida on the table for direct impacts, they want you to click on those nasty thumbnails and they just want to get money from that ad revenue. It's a sick time on social media. Let me tell you, it is a sick time. I cannot wait for this hurricane season to be over because the number one question I've received this week is I saw on another channel that it's coming to Florida. I saw on YouTube that it's coming to Florida because people are taking crazy ensemble runs and stuff from 2 weeks ago and sharing it. It's wild these days. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Thanks for letting me go on my mini rant, but I just want to set the record straight here that I'm going to tell it like it is. So, speaking of telling it like it is, Melissa is disheveled. It is beat up. This was to be expected. There is still a lot of wind shear in this part of the Caribbean, so it's kind of all over the place. It needs to get its low level center in line with its mid level center, and it has not been able to do that by the second half of the weekend, though. That is expected to happen. So let me show you the latest track here. And then I'm going to get in the first break. And then on the other side of the break, we are going to get into some of the modeling when it comes to Melissa and just some of why it's going to intensify the way that it's expected. So there it is, slow go of things. You see the tropical storm symbols, and then all of a sudden that Cat 1 goes to Cat 3 and then to Cat 4. This is a really terrible scenario for Jamaica. Even if the core stays, and I'll show you the rainfall forecast in just 1 second, even if the core stays off of Jamaica for all or part of the event, it is still going to be significant in the rainfall department. But you see there, Hurricane Center forecasting by Monday, a 145 Cat 4 storm. Continuing through 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a 145 Cat 5 storm, Cat 4 storm, and then lifting up toward Cuba. If it gets on the western side of the cone, that's where it has Cat 5 potential. If it were to swing a little bit toward the Cayman Islands, that is where the environment is a little even more conducive than it is. Alrighty, guys, I have to get my first break in. Please stick with me. If you have any questions, post them in the chat during the break. We're going to have the loop of all the models and stuff going on so you can get a fresh look of what the models are showing as well, so we can discuss that. By the way, we're taking a live look tonight in Yulee and in Kissimmee tonight, courtesy of our friends at WeatherStem. Again, post in the comments if you just want to say where you're tuning in from. If this is the first time seeing the show, I would love your feedback. We're here every night, Monday through Friday, to talk about the weather through Florida and, of course, anywhere in the tropics during hurricane season. I will catch you guys in just 3 minutes. I will see you then. Alrighty, guys, what is going on? Meteorologist Jonathan Kegges back with you on a Thursday night. Of course, we left you on the break. We were talking about all things Tropical Storm Melissa and the cooler air that is going to blast into Central Florida, really the entire state of Florida. Some degree, it's already here. It's nice and refreshing outside, but a much bigger cool down arrives in time for Halloween. We always talk about it. Now is the time we can start to look at some of the global models, of course, but ensembles. We have the hurricane hunters getting in there, so we're getting better data. But one of the other things too that would suggest that this is not coming to Florida. I mean, it's not. I wanted to show you the work. I wanted to show you the large scale weather pattern setup that's going to send Melissa packing from Florida, away from Florida, but these ensembles account for uncertainty. Now, what they do is different initial conditions are put into each one of these 51 members of the European ensemble. And what that does is be like, okay, let's say the high pressure is a little bit weaker. Let's say the trough is a little bit slower. Let's say the storm is a little bit stronger. Let's say the storm's a little bit weaker. So each one of those 51 members has a different kind of combination of atmospheric conditions. And even the outliers of these ensembles do not show direct impacts. One thing that is 100% certain, the Gulf is closed. Nothing's coming through, okay? So nothing's coming up like this. Nothing. Even here, we're likely going to see the storm, I think, do something like this and then kind of work its way up. The question is, does it do it here or does it do it a little bit further out here and then come up? That's the question, and that's a huge question for our friends in Jamaica and Cuba and Haiti, because that will change the worst of the worst impacts that happen to them in the Caribbean. For Florida, we're looking good. Again, it's not coming here. There may be an outer band if it comes up on this way. There might be some onshore flow as the storm is like out here somewhere that comes into the east coast of Florida. That is about it. That's about it. One of the models that have been doing the best so far is the new AI model. And we talked about this last night. And if you weren't on the show, I'll kind of explain it again. Why AI is helpful, just like in your daily life. Show of hands, post in the comments who uses AI. If you're familiar, I mean, I think most of us do these days, and we might not even realize it. But why artificial intelligence is good is because it can do things faster than what humans can. So essentially, this is a glorified analog. And what analogs are using past weather events to look at the future. And so what's going on in the Google DeepMind, it uses the European observations taken that go into the European model. It uses those observations, and then it goes back into its data bank that goes back to the 1950s. And it's like, okay, I've seen this before. And this is what has happened before, given these similar atmospheric conditions, given similar storm location and strength. So that is where it's helpful. So it's not like it's like saying, okay, it's like it's gonna like take over, or it's not like it's going to it has a mind of its own and it's trying to forecast. No, there is no brain with it. But what it's doing is it's going back and doing things that meteorologists can go back and look at the past and doing it faster, and then learning from that and then spitting out its solution. And that black line right there is what has done very well. All the little blue lines and the faint lines, that's all the 50 members of the ensemble. That black line is the mean, the average of all of those. Where you see the brighter color, that's the bigger consensus. It's just kind of there. This is on polarweather.com, by the way, if you like to look at this stuff yourself. But it's the mean, it's the black line. It did very well with Imelda in that complex steering situation that obviously had a dip in the jet stream. It had the Cat 5 Umberto hanging around too. And this has been fairly consistent with that right hook south of Jamaica, really intensifying, and then making the hard right turn. As it gets stronger, it feels that dip in the jet stream. That is going to bring Florida much cooler air for Halloween in the start of November. Trish is asking, is Alabama in the path of Melissa? It is not. We are closed in the Gulf. We are good to go in the Gulf. So, no, not coming at all. You're going to get some of that cooler air as well. But nonetheless, this is not coming to Alabama. The only spot really, and this is where, again, we use ensembles, the only spot really that for the United States, maybe the Canadian Maritimes, some of those ensembles do kind of yank it back into New England in the Canadian Maritimes. So that's something to watch, like, nearly 2 weeks down the road, because it's going to be so slow moving and we're still going to be talking about it near Cuba early next work week. That's something to watch, because if it interacts with the trough in a weird way, it may be able to get pulled back in to New England and then parts of the Canadian Maritime. So that's like, if there's going to be U.S. impacts, it's going to be way up there. And that remains to be seen, because we need to see how this interaction between the trough and the storm all kind of combine over the weekend and all that stuff. Alrighty, guys, I have to get my next break in. If you have any questions, post them in the comment section of YouTube. If you're watching on News 6 Plus, you can dial up YouTube, post your comments in there, or if you got that push alert on the News 6 app, you can click on that. You can open it up. There's a chat box there. I can see that chat on the website that you type in. So keep that in mind. A lot of ways to interact. That's what makes this show so great. I like to get your feedback. I like to have the conversation. Obviously, get way more time than the 2 to 3 minutes I get on the news. So this is what makes this show fun. We get to nerd out together. We get to hopefully learn something a little bit and take out the trash when it comes to those YouTube trolls and just ridiculous scenarios that are out there. Alrighty, guys, I'm back in 3 minutes. I'll see you then. Post those questions in the comment section. Alrighty, guys, have a couple of minutes to take some questions. And before I have to get ready for News 6 at 10, and by the way, if you're watching on News 6 Plus, you can keep it parked right there. We'll be right on after in just a couple of minutes to get the latest Central Florida news. Of course, we'll have the latest updates on Melissa and that cooler air coming through, and all of that coming up. And of course, we're back here tomorrow. We're here every Monday through Friday at 9:30. Melissa, it may not be the last one. The Caribbean's still very, very warm. There's an indication that another one might come behind it. But for all intents and purposes, the United States is over for hurricane impacts, with the exception if something happens in the Northeast with any kind of curve back. But any kind of new thing that develops, we have too many fronts, too many dips in the jet stream. It becomes hard for things to connect. It's not impossible, but there may be one more storm in the Caribbean after this one. There's just low indications of something bubbling back up, but I think impact-wise, the U.S. is done. Let's see here. Neek is asking, will this make... Now, that's a good question. It could make 3 total, and that would be the potential is there for Jamaica, but it's not clear if the storm is actually going to make landfall in Jamaica. If it does a hard right turn, then it might do it on the western side of the island. So it's not a foregone conclusion. It has to make one. The most likely scenario for the most likely area would be Cuba for one of the landfalls. Jamaica could be 2, and then depending upon if it threads the needle, somewhere in the Bahamas or Turks and Caicos can be 3. And then very unlikely, but if that bends back a little bit up here to the Canadian Maritimes or New England, potentially 4. But I would probably say there's an opportunity for multiple landfalls in the Caribbean and then maybe further down the line. And in case you just joined late, it has the potential to do so. Let me show you regardless, and that's going to be the key here. Like Beryl didn't make landfall last year, and it still was super impactful for Jamaica. And so, I mean, again, the center can go anywhere in that cone. The most likely spot for any kind of potential landfall would be in the central and western part of a potential likely major hurricane. There is a very, very small chance that Belize is still in play. It is a very small chance. There's a couple of ensemble members that get close. But I mean, it pulls it away. I think that trough is going to be too strong for it to hit Belize. It would be a touch more likely, just a touch, for Nicaragua, Honduras. But even then, I think that's too far west. $150 to $180 at landfall, West Central Cuba, Bahamas effects. Yeah, hurricane season ends. The last day is November 30th. I mean, it could be. Let me see. Let's check. Let's take a look at, I have like 30 seconds before I have to run and get on the news. So it is interesting. This is the brand new hurricane model, just came out, and it actually keeps it. Last night it was to the west of Jamaica. Now it's there's Jamaica, and it kind of takes it there, and then wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something if it had eyes? I mean, it's still super impactful with the rain, but the core, the halves B model, I mean, it puts the core on Haiti. But that would be, I mean, I doubt that happens, but that would be the best case scenario of a really bad situation that at least the eye wall would miss everything. But I don't think that's the case. Now we have to look at the halves A real quick. Totally going over my time. So both of the brand spanking new hurricane models, get it up there. and keep it off Jamaica. And that one does thread the needle. That would be something. That would be wild. That's going to be something to watch over the next couple of days. Maybe, and I would use lucky loosely because if that happens, that's 40 inches of rain into Haiti. Um, which is obviously not good, especially with the terrain. Alrighty, guys, I have to run. I'm over my time. New 6 at 10 starts in like 30 seconds. Keep it parked here on New 6, on New 6 Plus. If you're on the YouTube page and want to catch the newscast, it's on the same channel, different thumbnail, New 6 at 10, covering all news in Central Florida. And of course, I'm going to have the latest. New track comes out at 11 p.m. I would love to see if the Hurricane Center shifts it anywhere to the east with their brand spanking new hurricane models now suggesting that that is going to kind of follow the GFS and go up and out. I still don't know. I think it's still more likely to go underneath, but we'll see. That is a big discrepancy before the Google AI DeepMind that has done very well this year, and now the hurricane models. We shall see. All right, I'm way over. Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night.